guys, Ash your Raid Shadow Legends. Welcome to the video. I'm glad to have you all here with me today. We've got me, we've got you, we got Raid Shadow Legends. What could be better? 10 epic champions today that I would encourage anybody out there to 6-star with confidence. These are maybe lesser known, just not often talked about epic champions. We're not going to be talking about the Stag Knights, the Deacon Armstrongs, the Demythas, and all the the obvious no-brainer, the Geomancers, the Seers in today's video.
Cool, awesome. Cool.
And I like to do these from time to time just to give the spotlight on champions that I think are amazing, but just, they go under the radar. So please feel free to add an epic to the list that you absolutely love that you don't hear other people talking about. So I want to start out with an Ogryn tribe, one of my personal favorites. It's Lorn the Cutter. Lorn the Cutter. This guy's really freaking good. He always impresses me. He's grown on me over the years, right? So what does he do? He's an attack-based champion, 1443 base attack. His base stats, they definitely don't jump out at you. He's pretty squishy with the 837 on the defense, but he's got a triple hitter on his A1 where he's healing himself by 15% of the damage inflicted as well. So he already has some built-in kind of lifesteal mechanic off of that A1 ability with a triple hitter. Fantastic for Fire Knight. On his A2, it's an AoE with a leech and a heal reduction, 100%, both landing at 100% rate when booked on a 3-turn cooldown. So my man is dealing some nice damage here on this AoE. He has solid multipliers. That leech is not only going to help heal him, but heal your entire party as well. And he's got the heal reduction, which can be helpful. And then he has a 4-turn cooldown, Snatch into Darkness.
This isn't your average everyday darkness. This is advanced darkness.
Okay, attacks one enemy, 100% chance of decreasing the target's turn meter by 100%. So a great turn meter control here on the A3. You put it all together, you get nice damage, 2 great debuffs on an AoE, and enough healing to keep himself alive as well. It's just something about Lorn, man. I really, hopefully you guys give him a shot. Some of you guys who have been on the fence with that champion. Very good Cintranos, Fire Knight areas like that. The next one, I just made a video on her, so it's not going to be a surprise to you guys where I included her in a video, but Aela Lifebraid. I really love this champion. I didn't really know what to think of her at first. Her reviews in game are actually really good, but I heard in the zeitgeist in the community, people were not a fan of Aela. I didn't hear many people with very good reviews at first.
Take a good look at the people around you.
But man, I recently invested in her, and let me tell you, she's awesome. I really, really like this new Void Epic champion. She's fast, 108 base speed. You love to see it, especially from an epic. She's just restoring destroyed max HP of this champion or the ally with the most destroyed HP by 25% of their destroyed max HP. This is a really good ability for Fire Knight, obviously for Sand Devil, areas like that, and it works on ally attacks. So if you have another ally attacker on the same team, you'll quickly restore that depleted max HP. It's not bad for an A1. On the A2, I think having the sleep there, it's 100% single target sleep when booked on a 3-turn cooldown. I think initially I kind of held that against her. I'm like, oh, okay, just kind of an underwhelming Sand Devil specialist, but there's so much more to her kit, as we're obviously going to discuss here. So she does have the sleep, which does make her very viable paired with the A1 against Sand Devil, but she brings an increased accuracy on everybody on a 3-turn cooldown. I love increased accuracy. It just helps, well, obviously land all your debuffs, especially if you're borderline on accuracy. In some of these hard dungeons, like Iron Twins, other areas in the game, the accuracy threshold can be very, very high, so it's very nice to have. On the A3, we have a block debuff for 2 turns and a really juicy heal of 30%. Now, it is on a 4-turn cooldown, but block debuffs lasting for 2 turns is so valuable, especially from an epic champion. You just don't see it out there. So she's bringing a 2-turn block debuffs and a great heal, restoring HP, and adding the increased accuracy. And what brings it all together to make her even more unique and even more viable is Rhythmic Flow, her passive. It's a 12% chance to activate an instant turn effect on this champion or an ally after using an active skill. So, well, it's like, I say mini Relentless. It's not quite obviously as good as having everybody in Relentless gear, but that 12% is proccing, and it's on a 1-turn cooldown, so you just build her fast, and in between her turns, somebody, hopefully, will get an extra turn. Those extra turns are incredibly valuable. Those instant turns, I should say, are incredibly valuable. Not only do they get to do something, again, take an instant turn, obviously, but also it helps reduce their cooldowns of their other skills. So I really like this. It's very unique. It's RNG, right? So sometimes it procs all over the place, and you're like, hell yeah, and other times you're like, where is my instant turns? But Ayala for me is a perfect, unless you're using her for a very specific, purpose, like Sand Devil. She's a perfect kind of flex add to your team, and she's going to be able to heal and support and buff your team all in one champion and give extra turns. I really, really like her. All right, guys, let's go a little bit faster here. I'm taking forever, and let's talk about a Skinwalker, right? Now, this guy, I just invested in him. He's pretty new, and he's both the Rancid. This guy is really solid, guys. In case you haven't taken a look at his kit, he looks pretty cool, right? Definitely fits the Skinwalker aesthetic. What does he have? Some poison hand grenades here?
First, shalt thou take out the holy pin.
It's got to be what it is, right? He's an HP-based champion, doesn't have great base stats, to be fair. On his A1 is a 2-time hitter with a heal reduction, small chance at placing the big version. Not bad for Fire Knight, obviously. And AoE on the A2, 3-turn cooldown. He brings a decreased accuracy on all enemies. I think that decreased accuracy, especially on an AoE, is very good. It's very underrated. It's a nice debuff to have. And then increase the duration of all ally buffs by 1 turn on a 3-turn cooldown. Immediately you can pair him with a champion like Wixwell in Demon Lord, or use him, well, basically anywhere. He's good in Hydra as well. He's removing 2 random debuffs from all allies and then healing them by 10% of their max HP. And then he's also bringing the increased accuracy on all allies for 2 turns on a 3-turn cooldown. So now cleansing 2 debuffs, I mean, usually there's not that many more unless you're Dragon or, the Nether Spider, right? Not that many more than 2 debuffs at any given time. So you're cleansing those away. You're getting a heal. You're getting increased accuracy, decreased accuracy, extending buffs. I mean, that's a lot he's bringing to the table. And also, he has this kind of niche, but not bad passive. Antibiotic spray. Never leave home without it. Decrease the damage all allies receive from poison debuffs by 50%. Okay? And then he has HP in all battles by 25% as well. Really, really solid epic champion, a nice addition to the game. Speaking of nice additions to the game, guys, we do have some newbies on this list, and I want to talk about another Void epic who is also new-ish, and it's Oxtrox Bagosh.
Seriously?
Bone Glaive, excuse me. Oxtrox Bone Glaive. This guy, first of all, I kind of like his look here, right? I don't know, something about the aesthetic here. Yo, what's up? What's up, Oxtrox?
Watching my name get butchered.
What does he do? What does he do? I think this guy might be a little bit even better than both, right? Another great addition to the game. He has attack 1 enemy, 100% chance win booked of transferring a random debuff from this champion to the target. He's also healing the ally lowest HP by 10% of their max HP. A nice little A1 there, right? On the A2, a Spinal Surge, 3-turn cooldown when booked. If there are 3 or few enemies alive, place a block debuff for 2 turns. If there are 4 or more enemies alive, aka, I don't know, Hydra Clan Boss, you get block buffs up there with a 100% uptime. 3-turn duration on a 3-turn cooldown. That's really, really valuable. But then he keeps adding value by removing a random debuff from all allies and bringing, again, 3 in a row here, increased accuracy. It is on a 4-turn cooldown, but that's a nice little cleanse and the increased accuracy. Whenever an enemy attempts to place a debuff on this champion, he has a 20% chance to reflect it back onto the attacker. Nice little passive there. And accuracy in all battles by 40. You can use him as an or lead if you don't have another option there, getting that extra accuracy. So plus the increased accuracy that he's bringing to the table anyway. So I really like this guy. Very cool champion, especially for Hydra with that A2 ability. All right, guys, this guy's not quite as new, but he's still semi-new. And you guys know every faction almost in the game now has those revive random allies, right? There was, I think Kaden was one of the first ones. It was a great move that they did, Planarium. Basically, slowly but surely over the course of about 2 years, they gave every faction an epic with the ability to revive 2 allies. And usually they bring something else to the table as well, like a Dur the Hunger, or I mean, every faction, like I said, has them. There's Dur, right? Is it 2 on? Yeah, 2 on him too. So really, really solid. But the Knights Revenant one they added, I really like this guy. I think he might be my favorite out of everybody, and there's some real good ones out there. It's Malkith Bloodflock. Now this guy, again, I don't hear anybody talking about this dude, but super, super solid. Attacks 1 enemy. He has a 70% chance of stealing a buff from the target. Really solid on the A1. On the Hemo Bomb, 3-turn cooldown when booked, 100% chance of decreasing the duration of all enemy buffs by 1 turn, and then has a 100% chance of increasing the duration of all ally buffs by 1 turn. I love abilities like this. You can take the reflect damage off of the Hydra boss, so valuable in the same way that you would use in Silken Snare on Mikage's A2. So I love having both the decreased duration of enemy and increased duration of ally. I use him with Wixwell on my normal Demon Lord team as well. He has a revive 2 allies, 30% HP, 30% turn meter, and then a shield on all revived allies for 2 turns. I won't lie, that blood transfusion here on the 4-turn cooldown, it's not great, it's not awful, but 30% HP, and the shield being so selfish, you can't give it to everybody there. He's no Tagore, but he's really solid, especially for the revive 2. I really love what he's doing here with buff manipulation on the Hemo Bomb. All right, next up, guys, is going to be, well, let's talk about the other one that's not going to be a surprise, because I did cover her as well recently. But man, a lot of you guys, when you watched that video, it was the all epic team to kill every dungeon or something like that, every hard dungeon. A lot of comments impressed with Frenzy the Cackler, and it's true. She's very, very good. She's a damage dealer, she's a control champion, she's a burner, and she's a burner activator, and she's defense based. She's easy to keep alive. She's everything that you'd want from a Void epic champion. On the A1, you have a 50% chance of instantly activating a burn on the target. On the A2, you a triple hitter. Each hit has a 100% chance of placing a burn. Fills his champion's turn meter by 10% for each burn placed by this skill. So that's really solid. You can get a 30% turn meter fill if you land all 3 burns, and then you can activate them off the A1 ability. It's not an AoE, but it is on a 3-turn cooldown. Very good for bosses, especially. Her Vexatious Cackle, love the name of this ability, on a 4-turn cooldown is 100% provoke and increased defense on this champion for 2 turns. That increased defense is also going to lead to more damage out of her being a defense-based champion with 1443 base defense. Super solid. Increases champion's defense by 2% each time a burn is activated on enemies. That stacks up to 20%. You can get a quick stack, you know, especially in longer battles, of an extra 20% defense in addition to the increased defense, in addition to already having a solid amount of defense. And then she has, you guessed it, defense in dungeons by 30% on the aura. What a great champion. You know, you put that all together, looking at a really, really solid damage dealer and provoker. Man, she's really good. This is kind of an older one compared to some of the other champions that we've mentioned in today's video. Man, I look here and I see so many great champions, but Hatatsu, we haven't talked about Hatatsu that often here on the channel, and he's really one of the better increased defense champions out there for epics, right? He's going to increase defense and a big version of continuous heal on a 3-turn cooldown. That's nice. Survivability and the heals on a 3-turn. What more do you want? He also has defense in all battles on the aura by 25%, so you can certainly use him all over the place in Centranos as well. But it doesn't stop there. He also brings great damage mitigation with an AoE decrease attack on a 3-turn cooldown. Granted, it is a 70%, 80% chance of landing, but 80% plus a sniper is 85%. We're getting very close to that 100% threshold. It's just really nice to have the increased attack, or increased defense, the continuous heal, and the decreased attack. When he's on the team, he's going to do a hell of a job at keeping your allies alive in Faction Wars or beyond. The downside is look at this A1, man. Look at all these books.
I'm legally blind. I can see barely.
Oh, gross. That's definitely the downside on Hatatsu. However, if you have them, not bad for clan versus clan. It gets a lot of points off this A1. But you can get a 60% chance of placing a leech for 2 turns on his A1. So that's right, even more heals. But it's not done yet. On his Spirit Touch passive, removes a random debuff from this champion at the start of each turn. It's on a 3-turn cooldown, but it will prioritize the CC debuffs: stun, sleep, freeze, true fears, provoke, and petrification, all included. So now he's cleansing CCs away from himself as well. He's a difficult champion to deal with if you're the enemy. I really love him. A lot of survivability here. He's a very underrated champion. All right, I have 3 more for you guys. Let's do this. This one is a bit more niche than anybody on the list. I've said that these are, 6-star with confidence about everybody. This guy, I almost just wanted an excuse to talk about him, but he's niche in the sense that I do think he's worth 6 stars. only if you need a really great damage dealer in Sylvan Watchers, right? And that is Pan. Pan the Bowhorn, man. This guy, I wasn't expecting anything out of this dude, honestly. I was like, all right, a mediocre epic added to the game, whatever. The truth is, he smacks very, very hard. Very good multipliers. He's got an AoE before attacking. He's bringing an increased attack on himself with an increased speed as well on a 3-turn cooldown. And then he has a triple hitter, ignoring 10% of the target's defense on each hit. He's placing a True Fear for 2 turns. He's ignoring 50% of the target's defense if their speed is equal to or less than this champion. If the target's a boss, he's placing the big version of Weaken instead of True Fear, which is beautiful, obviously. Ignore 50% of the target's resistance, again, if the speed is higher. So big version of Weaken on a single target triple hitter with ignore defense. A lot of damage from this dude. He's quickly becoming one of my favorite damage dealers for epics out there. I use him a lot in Centranos. However, he is just an epic damage dealer. He's the same in some ways. I've seen the same sort of damage numbers out of him, like a Darendil, for example. So you don't necessarily need 15 of these epic damage dealers, unless you need them like I did in a specific Cursed City area. So I did want to share that with you guys. He also brings speed in dungeons on his aura by 20%. I just wanted to share my experience and that, man, this guy can absolutely smack. Really good damage dealer. You wouldn't necessarily know it. His base stats aren't anything to write home about, but I was a big fan. All right, guys, 2 more, and we're going to kick it a little bit more old school here with these last 2. I feel like I almost included Skaramis on the list today, but I feel like I've talked about him so much here on the channel that it's just like, okay, we get it, Ash, we get it. But he's next level. I'm just going to sneak him in anyway. This is me doing that famous thing where I almost made a whole section talking about Skaramis. Now I'll talk about how I didn't make a whole section, but yeah, I'll make a whole section. He's great. One of the best. He is the best epic provoker in the game. Do I mean that? I think I do. With all apologies to Umbral, this is a 3-turn 100% with a turn meter fill is very, very good. But I wanted to talk to you about the common champion disguised as an epic, or maybe the epic champion disguised. I don't know. He looks like a common. It's Ulfric. I've made fun of him before. Like, man, this designer, poor guy. He's just, I guess not everybody can be super flashy, right, in the game.
Exactly my point.
I really like this guy. Nothing about his kit jumps out at you as like, whoa, this guy's amazing. But when you just put him in your team, I don't know, he's just like, he gets it done. He does a lot, you know?
Never judge a book by its cover.
He has a decreased attack on his A1, big version, really good for bosses. It's a 40% chance or a 45 with sniper mastery, but still, it can land and, you know, it's solid for damage mitigation. On the flow of morale, his three-turn cooldown on the A2 has a 100% chance of stealing a random buff from each enemy, really solid. And then he's healing your team, continuous heal for 2 turns on all allies on a 3-turn cooldown. So all of a sudden, we've got a guy who's stealing buffs, actually has solid multipliers, only 1233 base attack, but he can deal some damage too, right? Like, I was surprised. He can be my DPS and my healer and some buff stealing, and on his A3, he has turn meter boost by 15%, and he brings increased attack to the entire squad as well. It is on a 4-turn cooldown when booked, which is kind of a bummer, but still, I mean, that's a lot to bring to the table here. He's removing decreased attack debuffs from all allies at the start of his turn. It's a niche ability, but hey, it's really useful, obviously, for all your attack-based champions. They're never going to have their damage mitigated, not while Ulfric's on the team, and then speed in all battles by 15%. 15% does not jump out the page at you guys, but it's all battles. That means it's an epic, useful speed aura that can be used in Cursed City in Centranos. And the last champion I want to talk about in today's video is going to be Ethlin the Golden. Ethlin, yeah, he's a solid champ, guys. This guy's really, really solid. He can deal some damage, and he's a great lockout. To me, he's kind of a sneaky, under-the-radar arena champion if you're looking for a way to dependably deal with mythical champions. On his A3 ability, he has increased crit damage and increased accuracy, obviously big versions, with the extra turn. You guys know how much I love the extra turn. So the extra turn, we can either open with this, get the extra damage, or in longer battles, if we use it even out of order here, we can get back to the A2 even faster. It is a 4-turn cooldown, but it's very strong. It's paralyzing stakes. Attacks all enemies 2 times. First hit, 100% chance of placing block active skills for 2 turns. Second hit, 100% chance of placing a True Fear for 1 turn if the block active skills didn't land. I love getting 2 chances at a very powerful control debuff. So True Fear is great. It is RNG 50-50, but it puts the abilities on cooldown. Block active skills is incredibly great. It can be cleansed, which is the bummer. The good thing is he does bring his own increased accuracy to hopefully land it on everybody, and he's void affinity, but great against mythical champions. Obviously, they can't change forms. Ignores 10% defense when attacking support, defense, and HP champions. Doesn't work against bosses, but that's why I like this guy as a sneaky under the radar arena champion specifically, but he's also very good in any wave content. I feel like he's a great damage dealer and control kind of wrapped up into one champion. So there it is, guys. We got Lauren Ayala, Both, Oxtrox, Frenzy, Malkith, Hatatsu, Pan, Ulfrig, and Ethlin. Who did I leave off? What's one of your favorite epics? Let me know just one that no one really talks about in the comments below. And let me know if you have any firsthand experience with any of the champions that I mentioned today. I really dig all of them. Thanks for watching all the way till the end, guys. And as always, take care, guys.